Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News, and we have Natasha quitting the Bachelor Clickbait podcast. That's right. Natasha has been a mainstay over there at Bachelor Nation's Clickbait podcast, and now she is leaving for other ventures. We're going to get into it, what she has to say. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal. She also mentions whether or not she's going to stick with the franchise as a consumer. Will she be watching the show? Why did she quit the franchise and quit the podcast? We're going to get into that right now. Let's have a listen to what she said today on the show.
Okay, Joe.
Yes.
This is my last episode of Clickbait, and it is so bittersweet. I have really enjoyed doing this podcast with you specifically, and of course,
Sounds the best. Thank you. Likewise, though.
It's great, and I think you find yourself, or at least I don't know about you, but me, I find myself looking forward to these weeks. It's like, oh, I get to catch up with my friends, like it's great. But I love podcasting, and I want to continue my podcast journey in a different way. I think Clickbait and Wondery is amazing, and we've had such great times, and the producers who help us on this podcast and everyone who's on this podcast is so amazing. But just, I'm not even going to get all into the who, what, where's, and why's.
Get into
there
it.
were recently, in the last 6 months, I've just seen some different things happening in this franchise that, for me to be this love and light that I try to put out into the world, I'm like, that's all I want to do. That's all I want to be.
So what are the specific things in the last 6 months that have led Natasha to leave? And I don't have the answer, and I would hate to assume, but we can definitely take some guesses, one of which being the fact that blackface was not spoken about on the live after show, but then spoken about on the podcast, is sort of, and also Michelle Young was told she was going to be able to talk about it, and then they never got to her, and they're like, oh, scheduling, it's sort of insulting to these employees that put their faces out there and have these difficult conversations on the podcast, but they never wanted to air it for prime time audience.
And sometimes it's being a part of this franchise, it's hard to continue that and to be that. And the podcast is amazing. And I'm so...
By the way, do you hear the audio of someone's chair creaking? Ugh.
Glad that you are doing your meditations and you're doing your mindfulness, and I hope you keep doing that stuff. But
I'm one with the earth.
Yes, exactly.
So you want to continue your podcast journey, which is great.
Yes.
What are you thinking about doing a podcast about?
So, it'll be more of, I like to listen to podcasts that are entertaining, but also that I learn something from.
By the way, I really wish she would have had her next podcast title ready to go. That way people that are fans of her would go click and subscribe it. I kind of feel like people might forget, because I don't think Clickbait has the most loyal audience, as one might say from their 3.2 out of 5 rating right there.
And I think I have a lot to share when it comes to, manifesting and living the life that you want and things like that. So that is what that's going to be the essence of it. But I want people to take away something. I've been doing a lot of research, and I've been reading a lot of books, and just about bridging the gap between really successful people and people who are stuck. And I kind of want to help those people who are stuck, because I've been stuck before. So that's what I want my podcast.
And of course, she says exactly what we've been saying, which is she wants to give information and entertainment. A combination of the two is a successful podcast. And Natasha's got a great voice, not just technically, because technically I think she's got a beautiful voice. I think it's great for radio. I think it's great for podcasting, but also she's got a unique perspective that is worth way more, than what you might just get within the Bachelor niche.
Cast to be about.
Are you looking for a co-host?
I would love a co-host, but I'm currently not looking for a co-host, because I feel like if I keep waiting for a co-host, the perfect co-host, it's never going to happen. So
Sure.
I just need to do it. And if a co-host comes along, amazing, great, awesome.
Nice. Well, you got a listener in me.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope that some of these peeps who have listened to me on here, and they want, like I said, being stuck is just a moment, and I've experienced that so much and so deeply.
And she's like, and I'm stuck on this dead end podcast. Now, we know Talking It Out was just canceled or whatever. And what are they going to do? Who does Joe have to podcast with now? Now, Tia, if I'm not mistaken, she took a maternity leave. Is that correct? So maybe Tia's nanny will be podcasting with him. It's just a callback. Funny joke. Respect nannies or nurses, whatever the hell she has hired. But either way, yeah, look, I don't know. For me, these corporate podcasts, I talk about them all the time, not to throw so much shade, but they're, Joe, Natasha, Tia, they're just paid to be there. So there's no soul, there's no heart and soul to the job. And you kind of feel that. It's like eating a bad steak with A1 sauce. It's like, I'll eat a steak. Is it well done? Ugh, yeah. Is it a brick? Is it going to hurt my teeth? Probably. Yeah, I'll eat it if I'm hungry. But if there's other options, I'm not going to go there. And I just feel that way with these podcasts. Same thing with Joe. I think Joe would be perfectly serviceable as a podcast host. I just think this format is so tired and so boring, and it got us through the pandemic. But like, let's do some live, podcasts, whatever.
That I want to help people through that.
Also, are you going to stop watching the show now?
Interesting.
That's a good question. Probably so.
Whoa. Really? So we're not gonna hang out on Monday nights anymore at your club and watch?
No, we can do that.
Well, Natasha, it is bittersweet. I'm gonna miss you, but I'm very happy. You're gonna keep podcasting. You want to do your own thing.
So then they talk about whatever they talk about, and let's jump to the 37-minute mark, and they bring it up one more time. The idea, will she be watching the show?
Yeah. So that episode was definitely like, no. We are not drinking the Kool-Aid here, Ryan. We are not.
Yeah.
So that was good.
I'm surprised he wasn't on Paradise.
You're surprised he wasn't on Paradise with the lies?
I mean, it is a reality show, right?
I guess. Maybe we'll see him again. Maybe he'll be on the other Paradise. Now, you asked me, was I going to continue to watch the show? I said no, but I feel like I am going to still watch Paradise. And it's going to be fun.
Watch this season. You're not going to watch this season of The Bachelor?
I don't think so.
I like The Bachelor because there's this big break, like the Paradise ends and then, you go for 2 months, 3 months without the show.
Yep.
So that's, you're like, okay, I'll get back into it. The Bachelorette piggybacks The Bachelor and then Paradise.
Yeah. But I'll say this, like, if you called me one day and you and Serena were like, Natasha, you have to watch. This is so crazy. Of course, I'm gonna be like, okay, fine.
Is Serena going to be the new podcast host? Did they let that out of the bag? Do you guys know this? Did I miss this? I guess maybe Serena's going to be joining the podcast.
Yeah. I can be swayed so easy. Easy.
Yeah.
So easy. But I will. It's not like I'm doing like a strike. Like, no, I'm not watching any of this. It's just, it's entertainment. And I just have so much stuff going on to like...
Yeah, you want to break from it all. It makes sense. We're from the franchise, so we've been in it for so long, and now we talk about it. So yeah, it could be overwhelming at times, but really enjoyed you. Gonna miss you, but I'll see you probably around all the time. So
well said, Joe. All right, so there it is. Another one bites the dust. And again, if she doesn't want to watch the show, don't watch the show. What's interesting is that this, as a Bachelor produced podcast, was able to even have this conversation about why she's leaving. Like, she didn't get into specifics, but she still kind of was like, I'm out, I'm done, that type of deal. Another podcast that's ending is Crime and Roses podcast. We love you, mean it always. It was I guess, what are they, lawyers who did a podcast here? Let's see what they had to say. They say that things come into your life for a reason, in a season, or a lifetime. Crime and Roses was born in the pandemic and allowed us to focus on the podcast instead of the chaos in the world around us. These last 2.5 years have been so freaking cool and so much fun. We are so incredibly grateful for the friendships we have built with each other. Truly one for a lifetime. We have both grown over the last 2.5 years. Our lives lives are in a different places now, and we've decided that we end the Crime and Roses season of our lives. We are truly thankful to the amazing listeners and community that we have found through the podcast. We're very proud of the work that we're putting into things, but love you, mean it always. All right, so there it is. More Bachelor podcasts pulling the cord. You know, my thought with this is that podcasting got really popular, so then a lot of people do it, then it got oversaturated, and people are like, I thought this was going to be Joe Rogan, and it's like, no, it's not. But if you want to continue listening to Bachelor news through my eyes and through my opinions, you can go to Bachelor Rush Hour and check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. We're like a top 20 ranked entertainment news podcast out there, and of course, it's just me sharing some motivational stuff, kind of keep you feeling high energy, keep our minds positive and our hearts in the right place, and then we'll play different clips that I discussed during the day, wrap it all up in a bow, and mail it back to you. What do you say about that? It's free. Bachelor Rush Hour. Don't be cheap. Leave a rating or a review, follow, subscribe, all that jazz. And so long, Natasha. Let us know where your next venture takes you. We'll be sure to recap it. All right, folks, that's been me. I'm Dave Neal. I'll be live on Patreon right after this, patreon.com/Dave Neal. Bye.